My husband, 30M, almost made me, 27F, fall down the stairs during an argument. I'm pregnant. Together for 7 years, married for 2. I am 28 weeks pregnant. My husband is not a violent person and he has never acted this way before, but our relationship has dramatically changed ever since we found out we are expecting a baby. My husband is very career-oriented, so he didn't want a child until he was happy with where he is with his job. I agreed. And then boom, I'm pregnant. We argue almost every day and a lot of our arguments are over small and petty issues. It's exhausting. Earlier today, I asked him if he wanted to come look at baby stuff with me tomorrow for the nursery. Somehow this irritated him. He said to me, "Do you really think I want to spend my only day off looking at bassinets?" I told him that he can just respectfully say no instead of being rude. We went back and forth for a little bit before I blatantly asked him if he even wants the baby because it doesn't seem like it. Well, that ended up being a big fight. There was a lot of yelling involved. At one point, I'm standing on the top step of the staircase and he purposely barges me as he walks downstairs. I lost my balance but luckily only fell down one step because I managed to grab hold of the railing. He looks back at me but doesn't say anything. He just leaves the house and doesn't come back for an hour. I was and still am shocked that he would do that. When he comes back he doesn't apologize and he is currently pretending like nothing happened. I know he was just frustrated and his intention wasn't to hurt me, but would it be a bad idea to ask him for an apology? Even at the risk of him getting mad again? Or would it be better to just let it go? "So, you fell down the stairs." "Yes, only one," he saw, and still left for an hour, and didn't ask if you were okay. Pregnancy is a very dangerous time in a woman's life. I believe homicide is the #1 cause of death in pregnant women, usually by their partners. Not saying that is the case or that you should be afraid of him, but he had a blatant disregard for your or your baby's safety. I think it's better to leave his ass before he seriously harms you or your baby. I know he was just frustrated and his intention wasn't to hurt me. You sure? It is a terrible idea to ask him to apologize. This man just showed you he didn't care about your well-being or his potential child's. He clearly does not want to raise a child as he can't even be bothered to help plan for it. You may think, this isn't who he is, but it is. He's dangerous. I know he was just frustrated. Do you know what else is frustrating? Raising a baby. Waking up every couple hours, sleepless nights, the cleaning up, the crying, not to mention juggling all this on top of work and life and relationship stress. This is the way this guy handles frustration, by verbally and physically lashing out at you. And he'll do it to your kid too. He sounds like a bitter, hot-headed guy, and people who react emotionally like this don't improve, they get worse with time. Please ask yourself the question, do I feel safe with him now? If there is even the tiniest sliver of doubt in your body, you should leave him because you deserve it to feel safe. The things you said he does, like the pushing past you on a stairs making you fall down and the snappy comments, are a form of abuse. It doesn't matter if he apologizes or not because it will happen again. His intentions don't matter as well. The only things that matter here are your safety and that of your baby. You're going through an incredible tough time. I really wish you the best and all the love. You know what we're all saying. You wouldn't post this unless you knew that this is very, very wrong and you are in a dangerous situation. How about starting with addressing your safety first? Can you stay with family or with a close friend for a while? I know from experience that it is so hard to admit you're dealing with abuse. Even if you just say you two need space and some counseling, at least you're out of immediate danger. Then when you are ready you can talk with a professional and get support on next steps. My boyfriend is obsessed with my virginity? He is my second ever boyfriend. He's known I was a virgin since we were just friends, and it surprised him a lot. He said most people he knows lost their virginity at 16–18. In high school, none of my close friends even dated. I was the only one with a boyfriend in our group and I never felt ready for sex. So I feel like I noticed a shift in his behavior since then? I thought it was just him falling in love with me unrelated to the virgin stuff, but I did notice it started after that. He started teasing me a lot less and he stopped making dirty jokes. He became a lot more affectionate with me and protective? I only think that's all related because of how he acts now as my boyfriend. He asked me if I wanted to lose my virginity and I told him that I might get in the mood eventually, but I'll know when it happens. He said that he doesn't want me to lose my virginity because he loves the innocent person who I am right now. I'm a bit sheltered in some ways but not really innocent. I feel like he wants me to be more innocent? Some things I'm uncomfortable with. I don't wear crop tops just because I never have. Nothing against them at all. My friend got me one for my birthday because it had a pattern on it that's very me, and he got all upset that my friend is pressuring me to show my body. To be honest, it doesn't even show my belly button. When it's summer I thought I would wear it, but he said it would feel like me becoming someone I'm not. What made me want to write this post? To be honest, he does this a lot, where he says he doesn't want me to do something because it isn't me. But I think he just means it isn't innocent. Like if I make a sex joke, he'll say I shouldn't force myself to have that kind of humor just because everyone else does. Sex, life. I kind of like still being a virgin, so that's not my issue. But he has done this thing with me a few times where we'll be kissing and he'll ask me if he can touch himself. He wants me to stop kissing him while he does it and just watch him. Which is kind weird. Even though he's cute, I don't like to watch him jack off at all. He says he doesn't like that I touch myself sometimes and wants me to stop. He pointed out there's no point in me valuing my virginity if I'm willing to do that, but I've never penetrated myself, so I don't think so. But now when I do it I kind of hear him in my head, so I don't do it as much anymore. I want to start a conversation to maybe change things. Not to start having sex or anything, but just to make our relationship less focused on my virginity. I'm just not sure how to have that talk. I really suck at communication, so if anybody here could maybe start me off, I'd really appreciate that. Less than 3. Sounds like he is fetishizing your innocence and virginity. Watching people wank is rarely as sexy as the wanker imagines. Touching yourself and being a virgin are completely different. Even penetration. If you like something and want to wear it, then it automatically is you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you being a virgin at 20. I was one till I was 22. So I'm closer to his age than your age, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is red flag behavior. It sounds like he's trying to kind of guide you and do either who he sees you as or who he wants you to be, and he doesn't like when you go past those parameters. And I know you're not a kid, you're a full-fledged adult, but him at 25 acting like this towards a 20-year-old is also a red flag. This is really concerning. Especially the part where he tells you not to touch yourself. He tries to masturbate in front of you, but you can't do it at all? And that nonsense about you valuing your virginity is just illogical. You get to value whatever you want, however you want. He isn't in charge of that. Speaking of things he's not in charge of, he's also not in charge of what you wear, what jokes you make, how much of your body you choose to show, when you lose your virginity, whether you watch him jerk off, or how innocent you are. Just because you're a virgin doesn't mean you're not an adult woman who is capable of making her own decisions. Tell him to knock it off. There are several red flags here. He is very controlling, and that's never a good thing. Guys are often obsessed with being your first. And you don't become less of a virgin no matter how you masturbate. I guarantee this is not the guy you want to remember as your first. He sounds controlling. Do you have other people you trust to talk to about this? Friends, a therapist? It's not normal and not at all okay to try to dictate how you masturbate and the clothes you wear. What a weird, creepy guy. Oh God, he sounds freaking annoying and controlling. I can tell you already that if you ever have sex with him, he'll either 1. Dump you soon after and go looking for virgins. 2. Manipulate you with the fact you are only his and try to control you even more. The woman I'm dating doesn't see me as a long-term partner because of my job? 6 months ago I, 29 male, started dating a regular customer, 35 female, of the coffee shop that I manage. She works nearby in a high-powered, well-paid job. Things have been great, but as things are now starting to get more serious, I'm starting to feel like she's embarrassed to progress our relationship any further because I'm not in a high-powered job like she is. She hasn't invited me to any of the work events she's attended since us dating or introduced me to her family or friends yet, despite me doing so with her. I don't want to be someone to have fun with before she settles down with someone that is in a similar position career-wise at her. Any advice? Well, has she stated it's about your job? Maybe you should have a sit-down and actually talk about it, since if this is some sorts deal breaker for her, she needs to be clear, not evasive about it. I think your intuition here is unfortunately probably correct, but have you actually talked to her about how you're feeling? Why are you sitting around assuming the worst instead of just sitting down with her and speaking to her about all this like two grown adults? Like you have basically already convinced yourself that she has ill intentions, which is not fair to her at all. Doesn't matter who pursued who or who professed their love first. Sit down and have an upfront and honest conversation with her. Personally for me, I wouldn't bring anyone home who I have only dated for 6 months. For both friends and family. 6 months is way too early for any of that. 6 months is way too early for a lot of people to start introducing you to the other people in their lives. If your standards are to meet your SO's friends, family, and coworkers this soon, then you're not compatible. Some people are very private with their lives and they don't want to rush into introducing a partner to others. You're overthinking this and making an assumption that has not in any way been confirmed. Seems to me that you are the one insecure about the job difference and are projecting that onto her. How long are you dating? Do other workers' SOs attend those work parties? Do you feel like she is just having fun with you, or do you honestly feel that she cares about you? She just started dating you in like October. Kinda weird that you expect to have met her family, friends and coworkers by now. Saving the meet and greets for much later is how a lot of people keep unnecessary relationship drama from encroaching on every aspect of their lives. Imagine if you all break up in month 7. She doesn't want to have that conversation with her coworkers. Come on. My friends ranked me last for physical attractiveness in front of others for a question they asked. During a recent game of Truth or Dare, my friends a couple both ranked me last for physical attractiveness among our friends. The couple in question were neighbors my wife and I had become friends with recently, and we have been hanging out with them for the past few months because they seemed cool. During our hangouts, we sometimes play Truth or Dare, and ask the usual juicy questions, sex stuff, past mistakes, etc. We usually just play Truth or Truth. This evening they came to our place, and very early on, the woman said she had a tough question in mind for Truth or Truth, but said she wanted to play it when our other 2 friends were present as well. But the guy later asked this question, emphasizing that it was a tough question. He asked his wife, rank all of us in our friend group in terms of physical attractiveness. She ranked me last. She then asked him the same question, and he ranked me last as well. Both were sort of smiling about it. I was obviously hurt by it but laughed it off at the time. The truth of what was said didn't matter to me. It was the fact that they asked this unnecessary question, perhaps to feel better about themselves, knowing someone would come last and feel bad. And yes, I felt bad, very bad. But I suppose that's irrelevant, really. As for their answer, they are from South America and my wife and I from India, so they may have different beauty standards. Our other 2 friends are Chinese. I can't bear to see them again, not just because I'm angry at them for asking such a question, but perhaps because they're not the empathetic and kind people I thought they were. I'm thinking of cutting them out of my life because we've only known each other for a few months anyway, even though we really liked hanging with them, and them us. My wife might explain the situation to them at some point, but I'm done. Am I blowing things out of proportion here? My wife is on my side, but I want a completely objective perspective, as I could be wrong about this. Update. They later asked my wife and I the same question, but we refused to answer it. Truly, you do not need friends like that. You are better off without them. My wife is on my side, but I want a completely objective perspective, as I could be wrong about this. She is right, and only her opinion matters concerning your attractiveness. These are deeply uncool people. They sound trashy. If you don't want to see these awful people again, then Reddit agrees with you. Fuck those guys. How old are they? 12. Such a childish thing to do, for what purpose? Get some new friends op. Those are not friends worthy of having. I am so glad your wife agrees with you. So, they planned this question and even asked themselves the question, not one of the other people. They knew the answer before and just picked this question to cause trouble. I bet they choose their partner as the first on the list. To repeat myself, you don't prepare such question to answer them yourself except you are in awe. I would stop meeting this couple. They aren't friends. Oh man, I was reading the post and before I got to the end, I was like, I bet racism has something to do with it. Did anyone else answer the question, or was it just them too? You are not overreacting. And if they ask, you can be like, it's not about whether or not you find me attractive that I do not care about. Rather, it was about the lack of class and tact. Listen, sir. Don't you waste another moment of your life thinking about something so trivial. We all know these kind of people. They are obviously jealous of you. People only try to cut you up when they feel that way about themselves. Whatever you're doing is working. Just keep smiling. And don't give them a moment of satisfaction. Just keep doing whatever you're doing that's making them jealous.